Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Batty of Batty Plays Games, and this is episode 3 of our Dwarf Fortress tutorial slash playthrough. We left off still building the food stockpiles and crafting spots, and it seems our dwarves on the surface are running into problems of building the walls. So let's go ahead and get that fixed up real quick. And let's get right there set up. So far things are looking pretty good. Oh, we need to get the farm set up. That's done with Q, and then hit down here. You'll see where it says like seasons. This is what we want done in the seasons. So because this is going to be just a plump helmet field. In the springtime, it's going to be plump helmets. In the summertime, it's going to be plump helmets. In the autumn, plump helmets. And in winter time, you guessed it, plump helmets. We'll have other fields that cover the other stuff. That will also have some field that will be fallow, or will alternate on what it grows in certain seasons, as well as we'll get into fertilizing fields later on, which you can fertilize by season, and that's, like I said, something that's a bit further on. So let's see where we're at here. Where are the miners going? Oh, they're up there eating and drinking. But right there, as you can see, our growers are going ahead and planting crops here to get the crops growing, get them started. And I think for our seed stockpile, let's try here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just a 4 by 4 should do. And I need to remember to turn my TV off whenever I do recordings. So that should be good, and hopefully the chair doesn't squeak as much during this playthrough. But we got that right there. Got a little spot for them to go, and actually let's open up even more, because later on, whenever we have large amounts of fields, the amount of people running in for seeds is going to be pretty big. And let's go check down here. Okay, we have spots for the kitchens and the stills to go up, so we're going to hit B. We're going to go down to W to workshop, and then down to here, stills, or we can just hit L for stills. And it'll ask us what we want to build it out of. Let's build it out of obsidian. And let's go ahead and get 4 stills set up. And one thing to know here is how there's different color on the X's. The light green is a free passage area, so that means that, you know, while a dwarf is using the workshop, anybody can run through all these little X's and it doesn't hinder anything. The dark X right there, that's a solid object. That means that it's unpassable. You know, somebody can't just run through the door and run over here. They have to run over here and then either go there or there to keep moving. I guess for the still workshop, that is the actual still itself, while everything else is just a little workroom. And now we just have to wait for one of our growers to make the still. For a person to make the still or make a workshop, they have to have the associated skill with that workshop. Well, while this is right here, and as you can see, they have the little Z's right there. That means they're sleeping on the floor, which that's going to make them grumpy. So next thing we're going to need to do is work on rooms. And as there's 7 dwarves here, we'll need 7 rooms. You can build rooms in any way you want. I tend to make them in 3x3 for a commoner, which is good for a commoner. That's a decent sized room. They'll enjoy it. It gives them plenty of room to allow me to give them specialized things, or kind of specialized things, like say a chest for them to keep their belongings in, or a dresser for them to put extra clothes in, because eventually they will want to collect more clothes as their clothes wear out. So, and if I particularly like a dwarf, then I can have them say, commission them a statue and give them a statue in their room. I make the rooms also in or the residence areas in a, as you can tell by everything else, in a modular fashion, which it doesn't look like much now, but once I finish setting everything up on it, it will be able to house between, I think, 75 to over 100 something if the dwarves are married, because married couples do share rooms. And it looks like the section here is finished. So let's set up this stockpile for booze. So we'll hit P and we're going to hit F to make a stockpile. And we're going to hit Q and change the settings. And like the food stockpile, we're going to forbid what we don't want in there. But in this case, it's going to be no meat, no fish, no eggs, plants. We want the drinks, no cheeses, no seeds, no fruits, milled plants, fat, paste, pressed materials, extracts, either plant or animal, or miscellaneous liquids. There's just going to be drinks there. And let's set up another stockpile over here for finished goods. And this is going to be the one for the drinks. And over here you can see where it says max bin and 49. That means there's 49 spaces here, if I am doing the math correct, or which I may not be in my head. Bins, sometimes they work right, sometimes they don't. Sometimes a item in a bin will be considered not there, and if we have like a ton of bins with a ton of goblets, dwarves will, if the little bug happens where they won't access the bin for the goblet, they'll just think there's no goblets and get mad. So we're going to hit, there's C and V, which lets you raise and lower the maximum bins. So we're just gonna lower the max bin to about 15. So we'll eventually have 15 bins in there, which will be filled up with goblets or flasks and so on and so forth. And that should be able to hold a lot. And until, if that bug happens, well, we'll have plenty of extra spaces that just have goblets sitting there, which dwarf can run up and get. Okay. Now, we've got that spot going there. So this is going to be the storeroom. This is going to be the crafting hall. So let's get this section set up, because we're going to need somewhere to craft beds and doors and so forth, so everybody can have a furnished bedroom. I do the crafting rooms a lot like I did the kitchens, but I add a little extra spot here because we're not going to close it off with doors. And I add an upstairs here and a downstairs where the mass storage rooms will be, which will be this giant section up here eventually. So let's continue going on here. Now this, I'm going to keep things kind of contained as well, to where this side will be stone, and this side, because we're going to put the magma reservoir down this over here, this will be for our metal industry. So that will leave over here to be the wood industry, and up here will be our cloth and our tailors, as well as gyms. So our kind of luxury goods things will be here. So let's get this a little bit more sorted out. We're going to have a masonry set up here to start with, and over here is going to be the carpenter's workshop. Which eventually we're also going to have to bring stockpiles down, so we're going to need to eventually have the wood brought in, and we're going to need to get the stone brought to a central area. But that is for a little bit further on, whenever we have more people hauling things. But for right now, this should be good just to get us started, just to get a few beds and a few doors made, so the dwarves can sleep in a bed and have privacy in their rooms. Okay. So yeah, eventually, like I said, there's going to be the masonry here, and there's going to be a craftsworks workshop here, and probably a mechanics workshop up here, and then a medium-sized stone storage place here, and a gym workshop over here. For the wood area, it'll be the carpenter here, probably a crossbow maker here, or maybe over here. I'll figure it out later. But for right now, we just need to get a few basic things set up, and they have 2 rooms excavated, and we found gems. These things here in the wall are gems, and these are brown zircon. Now we can mine them out and start, having more gems to be craftable, or we can leave them there, so a dwarf that gets this as their room will have gem-studded walls, and that tends to make them kind of happy if they like that kind of gem. But for right now, let's go ahead and start let's hit B again, workshop, and M for mason's workshop. And let's get 4 of those made. Having 4 isn't anything necessary. I just like it because it gives a lot of, well, I guess, room to grow in a way. In that, you can have 4 dwarves working on masonry and have things going at a pretty brisk pace on getting made. So let's see. They're working on the carpenter's workspace now. And our miners are, I think, skilling up pretty well, because they're starting to go through the obsidian pretty fast now. And unfortunately, dwarves kind of do their own thing, so they'll kind of mine wherever they want at that moment without any special orders. So let's hit B, hit W, and hit C for the carpenter's workshop. Now let's get the carpentry section set up. So the carpenter will be starting there, or the woodcutter will be hopefully coming down soon to start getting the wood made, or the carpenter's workshops made. And why do they keep suspending this one spot? Okay, let's get the seed stockpile up. So let's hit P, hit F. And let's get that there. Let's pause. And let's go to change the settings. And just like the food and the drink stockpiles we did, we're just going to forbid everything we don't want. And let's see. As you can see, there are a lot, and a lot, and a lot of seeds for things that can be made or grown, which is pretty crazy. Okay, but now that that's finished there, let's hit P and let's hit X. So we're going to get rid of the stockpile so all the food and drink is hauled into the fortress. Okay, that wall got finished there. Let's finish walling this up as much as we can up here until we need to get things settled. On there. And this one, I'm leaving that one spot kind of blank at the moment because we're going to put a upstairs right here. As well as we're going to put one here, so we can eventually have people able to get up there and control the walls, and a downstairs here, so they can go up and down the stairs and get up and down the walls. Okay. And they're being finicky on making certain things. Okay, we're going to start making doors. Okay, so let's hit Q, hit A to add a new task, and D to add a door. Let's make 9. Let's make 9 doors. And let's also now make we need to make tables. So let's make 10 tables and 10 chairs. So we can have our meeting hall set up here. And let's see. And we need to be really careful. We're down to 5 dwarven wine in that barrel. 5 dwarven wine in that barrel. 1 dwarven wine in that barrel. 5 dwarven ale in there. And 3 dwarven ale in there. So we eventually need to get... Oh wait, no, they're bringing more up, so that's good. I was about to say we're almost out of drinks. So, and that would be really bad. Okay, that's an empty wood barrel there. That has some meat still. And that has some meat. Or some plump pellets. So it looks like there's still more there. Let's tell them to finish up their ones they were refusing to build here. Thought I saw something up there, but it apparently was nothing, I guess. So let's see. Okay, let's now get beds made.
Dig deep your caves for cooler space.
There's 7 beds, and the things you're hearing in the background noise, that's sound sense. That's another mod that I'm using. Currently I'm using sound sense just for more immersion in more different sounds, just to make things fun. The Iron Hand tile set, and eventually you'll get to see a Dwarf therapist, which helps managing a lot of dwarves really easy. And I'll show you how to work with that here in a little bit. Okay, now let's keep our miners busy. Let's finish setting up the layout of this. And this way you'll see just how my residential blocks look whenever they're fully finished. They may kind of appear like a beehive, but I think they work well. And like I said, this is just for the commoners. The nobles, they have to have special rooms, so they get kind of upset and things get really bad when that happens. So those have to be made special whenever we get nobles in, which hopefully won't be too soon, because we still have a lot of work to do. Something real fast, and yeah, this probably isn't the most exciting thing to see at the moment, but like I said, we have to suffer through the dull moments on the early on to get to the really fun stuff. A little bit too big. Okay, back to that. Yeah, this is definitely a game where at first it seems like it's all random as you get started, and then it starts to form patterns. As the digging and building takes shape, you definitely will see the overall scheme and how things are set up and how they look and are made. And hopefully you get them right when you're first starting them, and you don't have to go back and adjust things. I've actually done that before, of trying some grand project and messing something up on stage 3 of it, and you know, I had a multi-part stage on there, and like making a kind of a pyramid city, and didn't get things set up right in the early on stages, and the pyramid turned out lopsided, and that was not a fun thing because everything then had to be kind of torn down just to fix the base. But yeah, this is what my residential blocks look like whenever they're fully finished. They look like that. And imagine all of this full of dwarves, you know, living their lives and getting ready to go mine or fight goblins or just milling about, enjoying their time here. And it looks like we found another stone type here. What type is that? Brimstone. Very interesting. So we have a little bit of brimstone, we got some obsidian, we've got iron. So far things are looking pretty good for us. Well, while that miner's mining, I think the other one is, yeah, he's crafting. And certain skills, well, not certain skills, but certain dwarves have their own stats. Like one that's not too strong, all these stones have weight to them. You know, this is 265, and if the dwarf isn't very strong, it's going to take them a while to haul that stone to where it's needed, while someone stronger will be able to move it quicker. Okay, so yeah, I think we're pretty good at the moment on drinks. Food, we're going to need to stock more up, but hopefully that shouldn't take very much longer with the farms growing. And why are all these? These are the dense cattails and rushes are growing nicely. And that miner's going through obsidian pretty quickly now, which is very good. I'm not sure what his skill is, I'll have to check that in a bit. But it seems to be pretty good, I think. And we're only in summer, and we already have our kitchen area set up. We have some walls that need to get finished. Which, why haven't they finished these yet? We'll have to get those worked on soon. But we're slowly getting things moved into the fortress here. It looks like we have enough stuff for setting up rooms, at least the basic room for the moment. So we hit B, we hit D for door. Let's get some doors set up. Let's hit B and then hit bed, or B for bed. So we've got the basis of a bedroom now set up, which eventually, like I said, eventually I'll add in more personal things, like if a dwarf likes armor stands, I'll build an armor stand and put it in there so they can admire their own personal armor stand, even if they don't have armor or any of that. Sometimes they just like looking at them, and that will help make them happier, which makes the entire fortress happy, because one dwarf going crazy and snapping can potentially take out the entire fortress, as people do tantrum spirals, which is just everybody going nuts. You know, person A goes nuts, which makes person B goes nuts, which makes person C goes nuts, so on and so forth. We're gonna set these up as bedrooms by hitting Q and hit R. And because the door is here, it automatically registers this section here as a room, which won't expand out into the hallway. So we just hit enter, and we hit A to assign. And we're going to assign it to that person for right now. Eventually we're going to give them names, but for right now we're just assigning rooms. And cut her there, and the doctor will go here. Eventually I'm going to make a medical wing and have the doctors have their own rooms close to it so they can be kept near the patients a lot easier. Same with the growers will more likely have rooms near the field so they can, you know, tend the fields faster and quicker. But for right now, I think we might need to pause, and we'll pick this up. And we'll pick this up again, and hopefully the next installment will have even more to go through. Plans hopefully will be expanding the crafting area, getting the storerooms set up, get the walls finished, hopefully. I'll probably have to try to figure out a way to get these set up properly, because I don't think they'll build them standing on the little ramps, so I'm probably going to have to put floors there, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. Until the next episode, I hope you join me again. This is Batty from Batty Plays Games, and I hope to see you next episode. Bye.